The views expressed on this program are not those of IntellectualRadio.com, its subsidiaries, or sponsors. Encouraging, educating, and empowering you into action. This is Warriors Talk with your host, Lady ReShell.
Hello. Welcome to Warriors Talk with author and founder Lady ReShell, where we move away from awareness towards action. It is Testimonial Monday, and our topic for today is cervical cancer, a survivor's testimony. We are live on Intellectual Radio. We want you to keep it locked right here and allow us to feed your brain. Our quote of the day is, cancer is only going to be a chapter in your life, not the whole story. Let's hear a word from our sponsor, Emanuel Church of God in Christ, with Pastor Michael Richardson.
Greetings, I am Pastor Michael Richardson.
And I am First Lady Anastasia Richardson from the Emanuel Church of God in Christ. We're located at 3058 West Van Buren in Chicago, Illinois. We are building upon a solid foundation.
And we're inviting you to join us every Sunday morning on Facebook Live at Emanuel Cogic at 10:15 Central Standard Time. And you can also view our videos on our YouTube channel at Emanuel Cogic-MR. Once again, this is Pastor Michael Richardson
and First Lady Anastasia Richardson, and we're from the Emanuel Church of God in Christ. We are building upon a solid foundation.
Awesome. Make sure you like and follow the Emanuel Church of God in Christ and catch them every Sunday morning at 10:15 a.m. All right, so here are your trending topics for today. The second impeachment trial of former President Donald Trump began tomorrow in the Senate. The House charged Trump with the indictment of insurrection for his role in the deadly January 6th Capitol riot. Trump rejected a request to testify in the trial. His legal team claims a Senate conviction would be unconstitutional and that his speech was protected by the First Amendment. Also trending, while a dip in the COVID-19 infections may be encouraging, experts are warning us not to let our guards down, that is largely because of the variants circulating in the U.S., putting the country once again in the eye of the hurricane. On Sunday, the U.S. surpassed 27 million reported infections, according to the Johns Hopkins University data. More than 31 million Americans have so far received their first dose of the vaccine from Pfizer and Moderna. According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, as officials work to ramp up the vaccinations across the country, more than 9 million people have so far received both doses of the vaccines. There is a third vaccine on its way to the U.S. market, which is Johnson & Johnson, and they have asked the Food and Drug Administration for an emergency use of authorization of the vaccine last week. So health experts continue to encourage Americans to get vaccinated as soon as possible. Research published last month offering reassuring evidence that people who are vaccinated against the virus will also be likely protected against the emerging variants. February is Heart Disease Month. Cardiovascular is the number one killer in America and the number one killer amongst women. The American Heart Association Signature Women Initiative, Go Red, for the month of October is a comprehensive platform designed to increase women's heart health awareness and serve as a catalyst for change to improve the lives of women globally. It is no longer just about wearing red. It's no longer about just sharing hard facts. It's all about women making a commitment to stand together with the Go Red and taking charge of their heart health. Nearly 80% of cardiac events can be prevented. Cardiac disease continues to be women's greatest health threat. So choose to be heart healthy today. We are also celebrating Black History Month. So salute to all the African Americans who have made history and for those who are currently history in the making. So I'm excited about the show today. If you are tuned in on social media, do me a favor, like, share the show. invite somebody else in on the show, and allow them to get this valuable information. I have a very special guest joining me today. She is a wife of a wonderful husband, an amazing mother of 5. She's celebrating 8 years as a cervical cancer survivor, and she's also a doTERRA wellness advocate. So welcome to Warriors Talk, Mona Patterson.
Hi, welcome everybody. Hello.
Welcome, Mona.
America and the world, right?
Yes. I'm excited about this topic today. I know that the information that you're going to give out today is going to be life-saving. The one thing about cervical cancer is that it is preventable, but a lot of people may not have the information. So today, get out your pens and your pads and get ready to be schooled. So Mona, I did tell them that you are a wife, and that you are a mother and a doTERRA wellness. What else do you want the listeners to know about Mona?
Well, there's a lot. However, I have come a long way in my journey. And I just want everybody to know that cancer is never the end. When you're diagnosed with cancer, it doesn't mean a death sentence. I know that there's some situations where there's a lot of people that have stages that are further progressed along. And yes, it can be very scary. However, if you're aware and in tune with your body, paying attention, you could prevent the stages to progress. Just being aware. Being in tune with your body is very important. Yes.
So I want to talk about exactly what cervical cancer is. So the definition, I actually got it off of the American Cancer Society website, and it states that cervical cancer is a type of cancer that occurs in the cells of the cervix, the lower part of the uterus that connects to the vagina. So now we know exactly what it is. And you just said something about knowing your body. So it's important to know what the symptoms are when it comes to cervical cancer. So
go ahead.
No, I was going to say, take us on your journey, Mona, to when you actually found out that you had cervical cancer. Like, how did that come about?
So it was, I believe, in the midsummer of the midsummer was around July of 2012. And I noticed that my body was I don't know if it was more of if it was a whole body. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain. All I know is that I knew something was wrong with me, even though I really didn't see a lot of things that were happening. I felt something off in my body. One thing I do remember is I did feel bloated, but I mean, sometimes, bad diet could be bloatation. So I hear a lot of people also have back pain. I did have back pain as well, but again, I had back problems. So July of 2012 was a big indicator. I felt like something was going on with me. And then my beginning red light, the red light that went off it was a little personal, but I had a little bit of bleeding after, intercourse. And I could talk to you ladies more about it privately, because I know there's a lot of questions that some women have that we can't always discuss openly on air. So that was one of my big indicators. I knew something was wrong, and it was a bright red color that came out of me. And I am very regular. I have my periods every month, normal, never had a problem with my periods. So that was my big indicator. I went to the doctor to go get checked out, and nothing wrong. Couldn't find anything wrong with me. I went to my regular gyno. They checked me out. They said, no, everything seems fine. I went to another doctor. And then it wasn't until I kind of blew it off. I said, well, I think I'm okay. And then it wasn't until one day I was talking to another lady about her personal problems. And it was like God was speaking through her, because she was speaking to another friend saying, you need to go get checked out, a thorough check, because you could have something growing inside you and you don't even know it. And I felt like when she spoke that, she was speaking to me, and even though she was speaking about somebody else. And I just felt like I really should pursue this more. Again, those were my only symptoms. It wasn't that many. A lot of women who do get diagnosed with cervical cancer have bloating, have a lot of back pain, have bleeding. Some of them have just excruciating pains like in their stomach. So there's a lot of different symptoms. Mine was very mild symptom. Could have easily been blown off, but I was very into my body and I knew the symptom as far as the bleeding. I never bled. So that was one of them. So with that being said, I went to a specialist. Finally, towards the end of the year, I went to a specialist. And when he went and checked me, he kind of, at that point, thought something was going on. The checkup was a little painful for me. And at that point, I said, well, I could do one of two things. I could continue to blow it off, or I could continue to get checked. So he didn't have the exact, he ran my labs, and I ended up going to ER that day. I was so freaked out. The way his face just seemed, well, it could be something more serious because it actually hurt the actual checkup, and I had some blood coming out of me. So I knew something was going on more. So I went to ER. I had them do every kind of check on me. Nothing. They could not find nothing wrong with me. They did a ultrasound scan. They all seemed to think I was fine. I still knew something was going on. Fast forward to, I went back to my regular doctor. He ended up checking me out. Then he decided, he saw, well, maybe he has some pull-ups going on. Pull-ups, like little, he said there was something going on there, but he wasn't quite sure. So when he checked me out, he says, why don't we go in and do an exploratory kind of look inside? And I said, you know what, at the same time I'm done having children, let's go ahead and have my tubes tied so I could just no longer have children. I had 3 beautiful children, 2 stepsons already. So I was about, just ready to say, okay, let's get this all taken care of. And so when January of 2013, I had a surgery where they went into me and they checked me out. The doctor checked me out. Normally the doctor comes over to you and says, hey, okay, this is how the surgery went. No, my husband and I, when I got out of surgery, he didn't even want to look over at my direction. He was in his scrubs, still in his hat, and walked out of the surgery room and just walked away. I just kind of said, well, maybe he had to go off to emergency surgery or something. I kind of blew it off. And the next day I was in recovery at home, and I got a phone call, and I got a phone call from an oncologist office trying to schedule me an appointment. I had no idea what was going on at that point.
So wait, the doctor did not even have the guts to tell you what was going on?
No, I don't know if it was, maybe he didn't. I to this day, I always ponder and think about it. Why did he come over and talk to me? Why did he walk away? I never really asked him. I never saw him again. He's a family doctor. My family knows him really well. I don't have anything really against him. It was a little bizarre, but maybe he didn't have that. Like I said, he didn't have the stomach. He said I was the second person when I did talk to him on the phone. So I'll pause right there where I was. I got the diagnosis over the phone. The oncologist called me. I didn't know what was going on. I hung up the phone. I called his office. He called me right back, and he told me, my darling, you are full of cancer.
Wow.
And I said, wow. I said, you got the wrong labs. You got the wrong, because I have never had any really issues in my life. I try to live. I thought I was healthy at that point, When I got the call, he called me right back from the hospital and told me that. And he said I was the only person he told me this later on at the phone call right then, that I was like the second person out of all his patients, because he's been practicing for years, that he saw the situation where the cancer progressed so fast. Mm-hmm. And he checked me out. I was fine. And then it was like it was there and it was not, So when he called me, told me that over the phone. He told me, you have cancer. And I lost it. I fell to the ground.
Wow. I just want to make sure before you go deeper into your story that they do know what the symptoms are. And we do know that sometimes you may not have symptoms when it's like early on. Mm-hmm. You may not even have any symptoms. And this may be kind of, some people may not like to hear the word blood or whatever, but you will have vaginal bleeding after intercourse, which she mentioned, between periods, mm-hmm. or, after menopause. Also, a watery, bloody vaginal discharge that may be heavy or even have an odor. And she mentioned having the pelvic pain. You may have pain during intercourse. So these are some things that you can kind of look for. And if you have these things, then, go and talk to your doctor about it and be adamant, like Mona, be adamant about something. If something you don't feel like something is right within your body, be adamant about,
Yeah.
them giving you an answer, because sometimes they can turn you away, if they feel like they didn't find anything, but your body. So just keep pushing.
Keep pushing. Always keep pushing. I knew something was wrong, even though I still functioned and went to work and felt fine. I didn't feel sick. I just knew something was going on. And again, like she said, yes, mine was a bright red blood. That's the indicator. That bright red blood is an indicator there is something bleeding in your body. Again, yes, I did not give up. I kept pushing because I knew, I kind of put in the back of my brain because I felt fine. But then my heart inside, I was like, no, there's something wrong here. Put my glasses on for a minute. Can't really see. Now I can see a little better. That's one of the problems. So with age, right? Eyesight.
So we're talking about cervical cancer, a survivor's testimony, and we're talking with Mona Patterson, who is 8 years free from cervical cancer. So we just talked about some of the symptoms that she had, or some of the symptoms that you may experience if you are suffering from cervical cancer. So I just want to make sure that you have the information as far as the symptoms are concerned. And I wanted to talk about the different risk factors that you may have as well. Did you have any risk factors, Mona, as far as maybe a family history of cancer?
Not at all. I was the first in my family to have cancer. Wow. My uncle had, my uncles had cancer, lung cancer, but I believe he did smoke. So other than that, no female cancers in my family. None.
Wow.
This was total shock to me. Total shock.
Okay.
You know, cancer is not discriminatory. It can attack anybody at any time.
It does not even, it doesn't care. It doesn't care what you're doing at what point in time in your life. It does not care about any plans that you have. It doesn't care. It comes to destroy. That is so true. So
Yes.
Let's talk about the risk factors. So some of the risk factors, I know it says one of them could be you have many sex partners. So that will actually increase your chances of getting it. And then also the HPV.
Yes.
If you have, it says early sexual activity as well, that would also increases your chances of your risk factors and other sexually transmitted diseases. It will it'll weaken, if you have like a weakened immune system, it'll also you will also be at risk for cervical cancer. And it mentions smoking as well. Smoking is like attached to a lot of different things, but it mentioned smoking when it comes to cervical cancer. So those are just some of the risk factors that if you have any of those risk factors, then you could be at risk for cervical cancer.
Yes.
So I wanted to talk about the what is HPV. So we know that they have the vaccine out right now for the HPV, which is, what is it? The human papilloma virus, if I said that right. So
a virus your body can't get rid of.
Right. So we know that they have the vaccine out right now that you can take as a teenager. And it's 2 doses that you take for the virus that could help prevent cancer. With a lot of cancers, we don't hear the word prevention, but this is one of those cancers that, you can take some steps to prevent it. So especially if you're younger right now, you can take some steps to say, hey, I can take this shot, get the education on it and take this shot to prevent you from having cervical cancer.
Yes.
And I wanted to also talk about, so we talked about the family history. We talked about the signs and symptoms. We talked about risk. What were some of your aha moments when it came to, Mona, when it came to just the cancer battle in general?
As far as me, the original diagnosis and going through everything, well, the initial shock is, of course, being told you have cancer and what you're going to do with it. I believe state of mind is so vital to when you're being told you have an illness. state of mind and making God your center is so vital. Without those two, I really don't think I could have got along with it. And of course, a wonderful supporting family. I was really blessed to have a supportive family. When I first found out I had cancer, I fell to the ground. I wanted to run on the street and run into, the traffic. I just was like, that's it. How am I going to get through this? What am I going to do? Where do I begin? And with my faith in God, I just pulled myself together. And my state of mind was so vital. I was blessed to have a good state of mind. I thank God for giving me this mind that I was able to pull through it and do everything that the doctors told me to do everything that align myself with the right people. I continuously got prayed on. I had a miracle happen to the midst of it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Okay. So I got diagnosed with cancer, stage 2, by the way, B. So this is a stage where it pretty much is beginning to metastasize in my body. So it was on the side of my badge wall, and they could not do surgery because of the way it was attached to me. They said the doctor recommended the best way would be to start chemo and radiation. And when I heard those words, was another freak out for me, because all I could picture was my hair falling out and the typical picture you see when someone has cancer. I was scared. Of course I was when I found out. I thought I was going to have surgery. But because the way it was positioned, the doctor recommended for me to have chemo. I had 30 hits of radiation, and I had 6 rounds of chemo. And out of the 30 hits, I had 5 of the radiation therapies were brachytherapy. It's actually where they put the radiation directly into your body with a rod, which was very invasive. That was probably the toughest part of the treatments altogether. So I began my process. I lined up with a really good doctor, and I lined up with a really good radiation doctor, and I began my journey. I had to do everything simultaneously. I had to have 5 treatments of radiation per week. And then on the Wednesday, I had my chemo treatment. So I met a lot of nice ladies. I had a low dose chemo, so my hair didn't fall out. But it did make me sick. I felt really sick to the process. That nothing worked. They gave me some stuff natural. They don't want you to take any medication. Anything natural. You can't do any superfoods, nothing. They want to kill every cell in the body, basically, when you go through chemo radiation. So that was really hard for me, because I'm really like the natural gravitator. What could I do to fix this naturally? And had I been told this was a beginning state of cancer, or if this was turning into something, I really wanted to try the natural way. Well, because it was a very aggressive cancer, I had to act quick. I had to be, okay, wait a minute here. I want to be around. I want to be around my family. I want to be around. I got a lot to live for. So I decided to go forth what the doctor recommended, which there was just so many signs throughout the journey. I got prayed on in church. Well, I'll first start with the one sign. I went to my very first exam with the chemo doctor, the main doctor. Dr. Tomedy was my cancer doctor. And I was so nervous to walk in. And when I first showed up, I had a very good friend of mine that was a nurse that also had bladder cancer. I had no idea, probably like 20 years ago. And she was right there at that very first appointment telling me it's going to be okay. I really feel like God just lines up the right people with you at the right time. And that was just one of them. So she was there, and she told me what a great doctor he was. And just all these things just kept happening, connections and miracles. And that was the beginning of it. So I started the chemo and radiation. I was 1 week into my therapy, and then I got prayed on. And I know it sounds kind of weird to some people, but I had this amazing feeling in my body. I can't explain it. I went into the doctor to get a checkup to see how everything's progressing, to see how far things are going, how things looking. And when they went to check for the tumor, she couldn't find it. She couldn't find the tumor. She was blown away. I was blown away. I just believe in the power of prayer. I still had to go through the process of getting everything done, of course, but it was just another miracle.
Wow. We're all about miracles, especially when it comes to cancer. So I'm glad to hear that. I know a lot of times when you're going through cancer, I know you said your state of mind was, you stayed sane. Did you think about getting any type of help, like counseling or anything like that? Was it even offered to you?
No, it really wasn't. That was one of the things. My doctor was great, but some of the staff wasn't also great. But you can't expect the whole full package everywhere. The radiation doctor, she was phenomenal, and her staff was phenomenal. I cried like a little baby in their arms, and they just babied me, so it was amazing. No, I didn't. I didn't have any counseling. I just was surrounded by a network of amazing people. I was really plugged into my church, and they were my network. My husband was my network, my good friends. And I just continuously pray every day. I ask God to renew my mind, my course for miracle, for healing. And it just got me through it. It was almost like this. It was almost like, I just really feel like, even though we don't ask for cancer, I just know that God, I felt like I was put in this position because of, I don't know, it sounds, I'm sorry, I'm losing how I want to say. I just know what I went through was part of my journey, part of my walk, my story, because I know that I'm going to continue to help people bring awareness to this. I'm not going to stop talking about it. And of course, boosting your immune system, how vital that is.
Because God knew that you wasn't going to keep your mouth closed about it. So,
yeah. And the miracles.
Yes.
There's miracles. Like, we have to, again, I'll go back to say it again. When we're told we have cancer, a lot of women are alone. And if there's anybody out there alone, please reach out to me, call me, because I can imagine how that feels. If you are in a place where you don't have a Gloria Center, or you don't have a good support system, or you don't have any family or friends around you, it could be a very lonely thing. Go into those appointments by yourself. Go, some of them I did go by myself, some of them I didn't. And that is a hard thing to do, to walk through those doors and get the needle in your arm or get the radiation. And, you have to surround yourself. So if anybody needs that, I know a lot of women I can connect you with in the area. You can, message me.
Yeah.
They can message you through you.
Yeah, the support system is so vital when you're going through a horrific ordeal such as cancer. So don't be afraid. Don't feel like, you're ashamed about what you're going through. There's somebody out there that has been through it and that can help give you hope and pull you through. So you're not alone when it comes to cancer, and don't allow cancer to make you feel like that you are alone.
Exactly. Yes.
So
it's very important.
Yeah, it's very important. So we do know that there are some ways that you can prevent cervical cancer. And the first thing is, when you feel something different in your body, you should be talking to your doctor to try to figure out what's going on. Also, you can have routine pap smears. That's important.
Pap smears.
And we hate those things. I know we hate them, but
matter of fact, I got to go back again this year. But yes, just get your exams, even your breast, everything. Get your checkups. Don't brush off things. If you don't have the resources or the medical, there is places out there, that can provide. A lot of towns will provide those. Different cities will provide certain medical, whatever you need, any kind of network or resources. Yes. Get your pap smears.
Get your pap smears.
Yes. I even hear about young women too.
Yes.
There's some cases about young women who tend to blow it off. And there is some cases that I discovered going through this, that these women, that because of their age, they go, oh, it's, no, it's for older women. It's really not. I was 38 when I got diagnosed. 30.
Wow.
I feel I was 38. Wait, how old am I? Oh my goodness. Yeah, I was 38. And I feel really good. I have much more energy than I did before I had cancer.
Okay, so they said cervical cancer is most frequently diagnosed in women between the ages of 35 and 44, with the average age being 50. So it rarely happens in young women, but like Mona's saying, it does happen. So do not think that you're an exception to the rule. Still get your pap smear, still keep in tune with your body, and talk to your doctor if you're having some type of changes.
Yes, for sure.
The next thing you can do for prevention, it says to practice safe sex.
Yes.
And we're all grown, so we know how to do. We know how to do that. So the next one is don't smoke.
Don't smoke.
Yeah, they put that don't smoking in there too. So another question that I had for you, Mona, was I know you talked about the faith thing with God. Did it change before or after? Like, what was your relationship before the diagnosis? Did it bring you closer to God, or was it already where it should be?
I was already close to God.
You were, okay.
Yes, I was. I had, like I said, I had such an amazing network of, I was actually working at a church at the time when it happened. And I mean, literally every day people were coming up over me and just putting their hands on me and praying over me. So, yes, God just kept showing me. I actually had a vision when I went through cancer, and he told me, he showed up in my dream. It was pretty phenomenal. He told me, "You are healed, my darling. Now I'll go out and do my work." So
Wow.
I'll never forget that. Yeah, no, I was close to him, and I'm continuing to be close to him. And I just ask him to keep lining me up with the right people and put me in situations where I could pray for somebody, where I can help somebody, or just give them, whatever advice that they need to hear at that time.
Yes, there's a lot of people out here dealing with it that just need that little ray of hope. So,
Yeah.
Wherever you can share your testimony, it is needed.
That's why I'm so happy to be on your show.
Yes, I'm excited. If you are just tuning in, this is Warriors Talk. We're live on Intellectual Radio, and I'm speaking with Mona Patterson, and she is a cervical cancer survivor, and she is sharing her testimony with us. Lisa said prayer works. It does.
Yes.
It really does.
Hi, Lisa.
It really does work. And it seems like to me, most people have that why me moment, but I'm thinking you probably didn't have that moment.
In a sense, yes, I kind of did. But then I felt like when I went through it, God just spoke to me that he's going to use me. He was going to use me. And it's all going to be part of something big. So I feel like every little thing that I'm going through is just another breadcrumb, another seed that is being planted to connect me to the final. And I don't know what that quite is yet, but in a way I did. I'm not going to lie. I kind of said, why me? Why? When I had a crying spat for about 20 minutes. And it was amazing because my children weren't there when I found out. It was just me and my husband. And I literally fell to the ground, and then I picked myself back up and I said, okay, let's do this. But once I got the diagnosis, that's when another whammy hit me, when I found out I had to have radiation and chemo. That really scared me because I didn't want to put none of that poison in my body. That's what I felt, but I knew I had to do what I had to do.
Yeah. Lisa says, hi, Mona, and I can relate to the message from God.
Oh, I'm so glad you can too.
Yeah. I mean, he'll make you, let you know that you're not alone, that even though you have to go through this, that I'm going to be with you every step of the way, so you can walk in it, knowing that, the battle that you're facing, but knowing that he's right there with you. He got you. So you can still, people wonder, like, how are you going through this and you're smiling, you're having a good time, you're getting on with life, and you're facing cancer, because God is right there. He's walking with
right
you.
There. Just like you said, every step of the way. And that's what he told me in the beginning. And literally at every different thing that I had to do through the process, when my first radiation appointment, okay, so there's the quick little fun things that happen, that God just does these little beautiful things that he does. I walked into a grocery store, and this was going to be my first chemo appointment. And then I come out, and I'm inside, I'm just going, oh my gosh, I got to walk over there in an hour. I'm going to go get this stuff put in me. How am I going to handle this? And then there's these two young men, teenagers, and they asked me if I could donate to a charity, and I was looking for money. And then the guy says, ma'am, may I pray for you? And I said, okay. I didn't know, do I have pray for me on my head, And then he just started to pray over me right there, and he started praying for healing over me right there at that. I didn't even tell him anything. And I just was blown away. I said, God, you are funny. And then, so I went to my first radiation appointment. I'm sorry, that was my chemo. Then when I was in my radiation, here I am sitting in the room, and there's like, they have you go into a little like lobby room before you go in to get the radiation. And I was sitting side by side next to this other lady. Well, we were exactly close, but she was next to me about 2 spaces over. And she was sitting there waiting, and I was sitting there waiting. I'm just at that. I think I was crying. I don't know if I was just praying. I don't know what I was doing. Obviously, she jumped up and she came right in front of me, and she said, "Darling, we're going to pray for healing over you." And there she is praying over me really loud. I mean, screaming. And I was going, "Oh my gosh!" Everybody's probably going, "What is going on over there?" And she just started praying over me, proclaiming it right over my body, right there in front of everybody. It was so phenomenal. So there was a lot of little things that happened like that, you know. It just, he lines it up. And like he said, he's going to be every step of the way with you. Every step. And that's what it was. It was every step.
He will. He'll give you that peace that surpasses all understanding. And people can just, they sit back and they wonder, you know, how can you go through something like this and still have that peace?
Yes. He
will give it to you. What would be some advice that you would give someone who was just newly diagnosed with cancer?
For someone just got diagnosed, I would just ask you just to quiet your mind for a moment and pull out at whatever. If you don't know the Lord, I pray for the Lord to come right into you at the moment. Pull out your scriptures and just to quiet your mind for a moment. And maybe get yourself also surrounded by someone like that best friend you have, or that woman or that man, whoever you have in your life that is that strength, that you can sit there and talk to them about this, because you do need a support system. You need someone who's going to be strong for you. You don't want to get around too many negative people, because I tell you, I had someone tell me, well, you know, that it might come back or it's something really negative. They told me, and I said, "Oh no, I rebuke that. No, just surround yourself with really the most strongest person you can put yourself with, and make them part of your daily routine talk, or you know, and then pour into your Bible. Put your worship music on. Worship music is so vital. Just put it on when you're playing in the car, driving anywhere. Also." Try to connect with the church to bring fellowship. Miracles happen through those services where you know the music is going and the right words are happening at that time. That I truly believe in miracles. So those are some of the things you could do.
Yes, we have what we call miracle service, and yes, and those. They be the best service. Everybody will come up, and the people who have experienced miracles, they will testify. And then they'll have, you know, if you're looking for a miracle, you come up and you get prayer. And I'm telling you, when you leave those services, you're not the same. So yes.
I can imagine. No, I know that I was one of them. It happened at my church. Do you want me to tell it really quick what happened?
Yes.
So here we are, and it's crazy because my husband told me his perception later. I had no idea. So one of our worship leaders was singing the song about the river, and then she said, "Everybody get up, come into the middle of the aisle. There's a river. There's a river in the middle of the aisle." So I jump into the river, and I'm sitting there praying, and then one of my other friends comes up to me. And then one of my other friends comes up to me, and I really felt the Holy Spirit just hit me on the smack of the head. And then, you know, when you're in the water and you feel like that heavy, when you're like in a stream or the river and you feel that heaviness in your legs, that's exactly how my legs felt. I felt that the river just pushing onto my legs. And I just was blown away. I started to cry, and I really, truly felt that was when the miracle happened for me. I was healed. And then I remember my husband was sitting down in the chair, and he was closing eyes. He was praying, but then he looked at the pastor, and the pastor told him, "She is healed." Well, later, my husband told me about a month ago, we were talking about the whole, we sometimes talk about the process again. And he said, "Remember we were at church?" And he said, he brought up the whole moment, the whole scenario. He says, "You know, I looked over at you And my husband's not the type that will just go and say anything. He literally saw water coming down the aisle when I felt the river or the heaviness of the water. Like it was just, I know it sounds crazy, but he was just telling his part of it, and we put it together. And I said, wow, just the miracles. Like it was beautiful. I'll never forget it. And just everything that happened, all the little things that went on through the process.
Wow. My Leo said, miracles are possible with God, life-changing. Never stop telling your testimony.
Thank you. I won't. Thank you.
It's important. It's healing for somebody. Somebody's out there looking for hope. Somebody's out there looking for someone who's made it through, who's overcome. And so it's important for you to keep sharing your testimony.
Yes, it's so true. Thank you so much. And I won't ever give up. So if you know anybody who needs to be spoken to, let me know.
Yes. We are live on Intellectual Radio. We are talking about cervical cancer, a survivor's testimony. We're speaking with Mona Patterson. And what I wanted to talk about, Mona, right now is those amazing oils.
Oh, yes. So after cancer, I was left so weak, depleted. I literally couldn't really walk without getting fatigued, feeling like I was going to faint. It took a while. I don't know exactly how long the process was. But I remember we went on a trip and I literally could not walk without feeling I was going to faint. It wiped my body out. I was a mess. And I just kept praying for God. One thing I do want to talk about when I went through chemo radiation, the only thing and I want to say this to a lot of people, I really feel like I wasn't allowed to take anything. They don't want you taking any kind of green tea or anything that's going to boost your immune system. No antioxidants, because they're literally just trying to rid your body of every single thing. But my doctors allowed me to take probiotics. And I really feel those probiotics protected me. Another miracle that happened before I get into oils is I am left with no real damage. A lot of women who go through the radiation, especially when I had those brachytherapies, I always say it wrong. It starts with a B. Those really damage your body. A lot of women have had replacements of organs like colon replacement. They're left with some of their bladder damage. I took the probiotics. I asked both my doctors. Now, again, I'm not giving out medical advice to anybody. Ask your doctors. But this is something you can bring up. If you're going through chemo radiation, ask if you could take probiotics. They allowed me to. They said it was fine because I really feel like they protected me. And I really feel like they, and I had read an article after that, taking probiotics while going through radiation really helps protect your intestines. So I don't know. Again, that's another miracle that happened. I just have some pain sometimes, down in, but other than that, I feel fully restored. No damage done. All that, the stuff that all the radiation and all the chemo, that usually is a lot of people, they're still dealing with the results. Burned. They get burned from the radiation. I didn't have any of it. So that was one of the other miracles that I did want to talk about.
We should have named the show. We should have named the show Miracles, because you named about 4 or 5 of them already.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I'm part of a big group where a lot of women talk about some of their results, and I just sit there and I said, "Thank you, God." Every day, they're talking about, "Oh, I have, severe burns on their side because of the radiation is, it's very, very violent on our body." So again, I was 6 months out. I don't even know. After the radiation, I was left fatigued, depleted. I couldn't really walk. And then I said, okay, I got to superfood my body up. So I just started to do superfoods. I did some bee pollen. I started to take, I did charcoal to detox my body, took some charcoal. I believe coconut oil is a healer. Coconut oil. Oh, I can't get enough about coconut oil. Also, I did a lot of essential oils. I started to tap into the essential oil world. I read about frankincense, how miracle of the body, what it does. And I just started to get into doTERRA. doTERRA is one of those oil companies out there that are 100% pure. A lot of the oils in the market only have to be a few percent to say they're 100%. FDA only requires it just to be a few percent to claim 100%. But see, doTERRA strives on being 100% because of the process it has to go through. They also put people to work in other countries. They also have a lot of protection programs called Helping Hands that protect victims of sex crimes, and they put them to. They have safe houses and medical care. It's really an amazing company all around. So I have adapted. doTERRA oils is pretty much my family's medicine cabinet. Whenever we're sick, we go for the oil.
That's what they used back in the day.
Yeah,
we just contaminated with a lot of different stuff, but that's what they used back in the day. Their stuff was pretty much pure. So
yeah, we sure did. We gotten away from all the natural, and we just plug our bodies with unnatural. Our bodies become overloaded. Yes.
I think medicine is it's a temporary fix. They never really get to the root of what's going on. They continuously just put a Band-Aid over it. So
exactly. No, you're it's so true. Mm-hmm. I did have some problems with feeling fatigue and feeling a certain way after, and they just wanted to give me another medication. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to put something else. I've already put all that junk in my body. I know I need something else. So that's what I do. I'm actually doing a healthy keto right now. I recently lost 34 pounds. After chemo and radiation, I gained a lot of weight. I gained like 60 pounds. My body went nuts. The hormones were out of control. And now I feel so good. I clean eat. I cut sugar completely out of my body. I just do like a healthy keto. One of the only fats probably really is the MCT oil. I do add that into my diet. Really is a miracle oil too, another miracle oil. And I just, and I do it for my family too. I'm like, we don't need that junk. It was a little transition for everybody. But the way my mind feels now and the way I feel, it's like, I'm not going to go back. I do have my cheat meals once in a while, but majority, my staple is eating as much as I can healthy. So vital for your body.
So vital. Food is medicine.
Yes.
So you just got to make sure you feed it the right things so they can operate the way that you intended, and for the longevity of it too. So we don't realize that we're eating for, down the road when we get old, we want our body to be in a certain condition. So you got to put the right fuel in it. So give us the website to where we can find these amazing oils.
Well, maybe you can go to my Instagram. I do have, it's basically my Instagram name is Amazing Oils Healing. You can find me on Instagram. And, I love to, if you're local, I don't know, you're over there in Illinois, right? Are you? Yeah. So I'm in California right now in Torrance area. So you can go there. You can follow. I put a lot of tips on just different things that I continuously do for my family now. So it's Amazing Oils Healing in Instagram. And then my website link is right in there.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mona. I really appreciate you being vulnerable to share your story, to share some hope and give somebody else, some hope to let them know that they too can be a survivor. So before we end the show, can you just give us some brief words of wisdom for someone who may be going through cervical cancer?
You are not alone. You don't want you to fear. I want you to pray, close your eyes, connect yourself with the right people, connect with me, connect with someone who's been through it. Do your research. Don't give up. Find the right doctors in your area that can give you, connect you to the right resources, and get your mind just focus on healing your body. As soon as you're done with chemo radiation, start to heal your body. You can heal your body. You have to feed it the right foods, the right medicines, natural, and you can make your vessel the most healthy vessel ever. And you're not alone.
You're not alone. Thank you so much, Mona, for those amazing words of wisdom. I appreciate you. I will leave you guys with these words of wisdom. You have been assigned this mountain to show others that it can be moved. Join me next Monday right here at 6 p.m. on Intellectual Radio. As always, thank you for tuning in to Warriors Talk with author and founder. You're welcome, with author and founder Lady ReShell, where we are changing lives one warrior at a time.
Thank you for listening to this week's edition of Warriors Talk with Lady ReShell. To find out more about Warriors Talk, follow at Warriors Talk, the number 1, on all social media outlets, and Warriors Talk with Lady ReShell on YouTube. Please join us next week and every Monday evening at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on IntellectualRadio.com for Warriors Talk with Lady ReShell, where we encourage, educate, and empower you into action.